In school, we've all been forced to read books. And don't understand me wrong, the idea of young people developing through reading books is amazing. But how it was done is not the way I would see it, honestly. Because, as most of you read those books, you didn't really focus on probably remembering what were inside those books. And with said books, it's not that important because you know you won't probably use them in life. In school, yes, but in life, I doubt it. But when you come to reading more useful books, like those books from which you learn actually, like which I have here, from Dale Carnegie, How to Influence and Influence People, one of the best books that is probably out there for you to buy, for you to get. But it's a different kind of a book than a set book. It's for you to learn, and then that's more important for you to remember what you've read. With our current times, people are not so good at remembering and getting their attention to something for longer than a while. So you might have tried to read such books, but couldn't find the value inside of them because you simply forgot what you read about. So I at first I want you to realize that these books that you read for the plot and the entertainment, and these books you read for knowledge, for experience, from the experience of others, are different, and you should read them differently. Whereas these kind of books you read for the entertainment, for the plot, you may read just normally, and you will probably find them interesting. If you find them interesting, it will be easier for you to remember the plot going. But for these books, to remember them, I have two simple tricks for you to implement so you will be able to go through them with taking their value out of them. First of them would be marking some certain parts of the book. So let me tell you. Open. Okay. The chapter about making a good impression. And one of the parts I underline for myself, I will say it and then paraphrase it. I'm speaking about the true smile that comes from your heart, not a fake one. Of course, it was in the middle of a plot told, but for you to remember it, it's important in this certain topic to, when you want to make a good impression, for at first smile, but bring that smile honestly and not a fake smile like that. But going back, underlining some parts, taking some special highlighters, if you like, that's how they were called, of course, can help you remember certain parts because you just put more attention to them, and this will proceed in you remembering them and being able to reminisce them in the future. And the second advice I would give you would be taking general notes. So after reading a certain chapter, let's take the same book. How to become a good speaker. After you go through the whole chapter, it's not that long, you take something to note. I personally do it on my phone, now on the app Notion, but I used to do it in a normal phone notepad, and you are able to do that too. If you like, you may take those notes on paper. That's not really the case. Just think of what you've read and try to summarize it by yourself into like 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. Doesn't matter exactly, but for you to summarize the whole part of the book you've read, and then you may come back to your notes after some time, and being able to remind almost whole chapter and all the important things from the book just by reading by half a minute your notes. So that would be it. I hope that you will find those books, like mentioned again, How to Influence and Influence People, Atomic Habits, The Way of the Superior Man, and many others I don't have for now, but I will read them in the future. You may find those books appearing visually a bit different than you might find in the internet, because mine are in Polish and they are in some different covers also. So I hope that you will find that video helpful, and see you soon.